Okay, action.
Hello, my name is Brent Poole, and I'm the director of the International Student Program for the Pembina Trail School Division in a city called Winnipeg in the middle of Canada. We say come and study in the heart of Canada. A quick background to my education. I'm a high school biology teacher by trade. I started teaching high school biology in 1988 at one of our high schools. I moved into school administration as the vice principal of that school. I was vice principal for a few years, and then in 1999 I was asked to direct our international student program, and I've been directing that program ever since. The Pembina Trail School Division is a public school division that's located in the southwest corner of Winnipeg. We have 34 schools. 4 of them are high schools. We have a brand new school that will be opening up in January of 2017. It's a kindergarten to grade 8 school. We represent the largest and longest running international student program for students ages 5 to 18 in central Canada. So we have lots of experience. The 4 high schools that we have are very similar. We often get asked the question by the parents, well, if you have 4 high schools, which one is the best? The question is a good question, and it's important that the parents and students realize that in Canada, public schools are not ranked, and so neither do we rank them within our school division. The 4 high schools were built to service the community that they are located in. So the students who live in the area of that particular high school will go to that high school. They don't go to the one further away. So the high schools are very, very similar in their curriculum that they offer, the teachers that teach there. So having said that, there are small differences between them. For example, we have one school that offers the Japanese language course. So if a student wanted to take Japanese language, they could only go to that school. There's differences in some of the sports programs and extracurricular activities that are offered. But for the most part, the high schools are very, very similar. So there's very little to choose from. So what we do is we find the students the homestay first, and then we put them in the high school that's close to that homestay. And I'm talking about high school because in Vietnam, all of our students right now are currently in high school. We haven't had a student younger than high school from Vietnam, but they're certainly welcome to apply to our program, even if they are younger. We're one of the few programs in Canada that offer a full-time activities facilitator. And our activities facilitator, his job is to provide cultural activities to the students throughout the year, summer, fall, winter, to help the students understand the cultural part of Canada. ESL support is provided in all of our schools. There's different levels of ESL support offered by our schools. So some have stronger ESL support because of the community that they're in. And if a student from Vietnam's level of English is not strong, we would try and make sure we put him or her into that school. If the student's level of English is stronger, then they have more options as to what school they might go into because of the level of ESL support offered. Each student is assigned a high school counselor to support them throughout the year, and the counselor is an important part of their education to help move them into the next phase, into post-secondary education, so that when they graduate from high school, the students are aware of the post-secondary opportunities that are out there. Each school also has something what we call an ISP liaison teacher to assist when I say ISP, ISP stands for International Student Program, and the ISP liaison teacher assists the international students with their academic and non-academic needs. They're a go-to person, what we call a go-to person in the school. So if the international student wants to talk to a staff member about a certain problems that they might be having with courses or with their future programming, that there's a go-to person, an ISP liaison teacher they can talk with. Teacher assistance is available before and after the school, and also during lunch hours and during spares, where the teachers may have spares and the students may have spares. The students get support that way too. They are always welcome to meet with teachers to help them with their assignments or something they may not understand in a class. We have 3 homestay staff members to assist our students with their homestay needs, and our homestay program keeps in regular contact with the homestay families and with the international students throughout the year. And our full-time activities facilitator provides, as I mentioned, cultural activities throughout the year. Pembina Trails does not offer scholarships for the international students, but it's important to realize that our costs are very reasonable, and we add to those cost savings by not charging some fees that other school boards across Canada do charge. For example, many school boards across Canada charge something called a homestay placement fee. We do not charge that for that. Pembina Trails does not charge that. Many school boards charge for something called a custodianship fee, and Pembina Trails does not charge for custodianship fee. And airport transfer fee, the cost to pick up the student from the airport and bring them to their homestay, is also charged by some programs, and we do not charge for that. And also the ESL support is provided within the tuition fees. So although we don't have a scholarship, we certainly have other savings available to the students that can amount to hundreds and thousands of dollars. The colleges in Manitoba that the students can transfer to are varied. There's colleges, universities, post-secondary opportunities, but if the student graduates, or when the student graduates from high school in our school division, it's not just Manitoba they go to, they can go across Canada or North America. Our high school diploma is certainly recognized across North America, and they're welcome to apply anywhere. Students should come to our program, and really any program in Canada, with a very open mind, and that open mind should include the fact that we are multicultural. Canada is a very multicultural country. We were built on multiculturalism. You don't have to go too far back in people's and Canadians' families' histories to get out of the country. And what I mean by that is, if I use myself for example, my parents were both born in Winnipeg, but my grandparents were born in England. And so you go 2 generations out of my family and you're outside of Canada. And that's common across Canada, and that's what our country was built on. And that's important for the students to recognize and understand that when they come to Canada, especially when they're living with a homestay family, because our homestay families are very multicultural, coming from a variety of different cultures. But English is a language in the home, and the Canadian culture is what's honored and reflected in their home lifestyles. So even though they're with a family that may have a Chinese background or a Filipino background or a German background, they're still going to get a Canadian experience with the English language. But it's important that they come to Canada with that very open mind, knowing that their homestay family, for example, is going to be could be from a different culture. And when they go into the schools, they'll see that some of the schools are very multicultural. Students coming to Winnipeg need to be open-minded about the weather as well. Questions that we often get asked about the weather, and in Winnipeg, we embrace winter. We celebrate winter. Winter in Vietnam is something that the students may not quite understand, having no cold temperature here below 0 degrees, no snow here. So for a student from Vietnam to come to Winnipeg, we encourage them to come and experience the true Canadian winter experience. They don't need to worry about bringing clothes. Where's my warm clothes going to come from? Once they come to Canada, their homestay families will help them buy winter clothes. It's important to understand that in Winnipeg, just like in Vietnam, it's very calm and cool here. Even though it's hot outside, it's cool because it's air conditioned here. And in Winnipeg, we air condition our homes because it's very hot in the summertime. In July, the average daytime temperature is plus 26 degrees. And so it's air conditioned. And when the winter time comes, we turn off the air conditioning, we turn on the heat. So in Winnipeg, our schools are heated, our homes are heated, cars, buses, movie theaters, stores. So you're only cold if you're outside and you're not dressed properly. And it's up to our homestays to ensure that that their students and our students are dressed properly for the winter time. And when you're dressed properly and you're outside and the temperature might be minus 20 degrees, you can enjoy that. And we teach students how to enjoy that through our cultural activities, take them snowshoeing, take them, we have outside bonfires in the wintertime. We take them skiing in the wintertime. These are winter activities that need to be colder than colder than 0 degrees in order to enjoy, and we teach the students how to enjoy that. But having that open mind that just because it's cold outside doesn't mean you should be scared of it and stay away from it. It's something to celebrate and enjoy. And lastly, we really encourage our students to communicate. Communication is a word the students will hear throughout our program, and the importance of communication. At our orientation, we teach them about communication. We teach them about lines of communication, who to communicate with, and about what. Our program staff, we have our own areas that we cover. So if you have a homestay, something you want to talk about homestay, you talk to a homestay person. If you have something about accounting, the financial part, you talk to our accounting person. You have something about activities, you'll talk to our activities facilitator. But keeping open lines of communication with the homestay families, with our program, with your agents back in Vietnam, your parents back in Vietnam, it's important to communicate, and we'll emphasize that throughout the student stay in our program. So I thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about Pembina Trails with you, a little bit about Winnipeg, a little bit about Canada. I thank New World Education for opening their doors for me to do this presentation. I really hope you'll give Pembina Trails serious consideration, and you'll come and join us, and I look forward to seeing you in Winnipeg. Thank you.